UFC Lightweight Austin Hubbard, who's back in action later this month on the 21st of August. Austin, how has preparation been so far?
It's been great, man. Haven't had any injuries, which is always nice. Camp's been going great. I feel great. Weight's coming off as it should, and I'm feeling ready. I'm excited. I can't wait to get in there.
Not many fighters would come on and say they haven't got any injuries. So are you embellishing a little bit there, Austin, or has it just been a perfect camp?
I mean, there's always some soreness, some tired days and things like that, but nothing too major. Nothing that's gonna hinder my performance.
Well, let's talk about the fight. So as I mentioned, 21st of August, you'll be in there against Vinc Pichel. I just first and foremost like to say, how do you view Pichel as a style matchup in comparison with your skill set?
Yeah, I mean, he's a veteran of the sport. He seems very well rounded. He's holds his own on his feet. I think he's a black belt on the ground even. So yeah, he's very well rounded, and seeing some of his fights, he is he's comfortable standing on the ground, and so I think that it is going to be a fight that has the fight of the night potential, because I feel I'm very well rounded. I do feel I'm a little more dynamic, a little more faster and things like that. But I do believe it'll definitely be like a 3-round war, and it'll be a fun fight.
Is it a matchup that excites you in terms of what you're saying about you thinking it being an action-packed matchup?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Especially watching that card the other weekend where, every fight was just unbelievable. I'm like, man, I want to have a fight like this. And I believe he will bring that type of fight, and I believe I'll bring that type of fight, you know what I mean? So I'm excited for it.
I spoke to one of your Team Elevation training partners a couple of weeks ago. I spoke to Drew Dober, and he talked to me about how he felt extra anticipation going into the Riddell fight because he knew it would be action packed. Is that similar to what you're saying with Pichel? Because you're training a little bit harder, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. When or at least have it in your head that it's going to be a 3-round war, I try pushing whenever I feel tired in a round. That's when I try pushing even harder. You know what I mean? I'm trying to put out as high as output as I can in these rounds and just really turn it into a dogfight, so to speak. And so I'm prepared for that because I do fully believe that's the type of fight it's going to be. So yeah.
If we just touch on your last win as well back in April against Dakota, obviously that was a last minute change of opponents, and we often stress the last minute change, the disadvantage being with the guy coming in, but it's also a disadvantage for the guy who's been training for someone for 2 months. So what was that experience like fighting Bush on a week's notice?
To me, I've had a handful, quite a bit of last minute change of opponents in my career. And I'm having a call.
Little bit of a technical difficulty there, but as you were saying, Austin, what was it like fighting Dakota Bush on a week's notice?
Yeah, I've had quite a bit of last minute replacements throughout my career. Mostly obviously coming before the UFC. But even now I've had 2 in the UFC. The last minute replacements are anything that really bothers me too much. I'm so focused on what my game plan is and what I'm gonna do, and the way I view it, I mean, a fight is a fight. You can game plan all you want towards one person, but like at the end of the day, anything can happen in there. And not to say I don't like specifically try to do certain things, towards the opponent I'm facing, but man, fights are crazy. Anything can happen. And so I just try to be as prepared as I can in all areas for whoever, you know what I mean? So like I said, those don't really bother me too much.
How do you look back on your performance back in April? Are you satisfied with that fight?
Yeah, I was pretty happy. Obviously, I got the win and I was pretty dominant, so I was happy about that. I'm probably my harshest critic. There's always things you can work on. There's always things you can improve. So I just look for those things first before, before I take the credit of, oh yeah, I did a great fight. You know what I mean? So I just look for those things and work on those things and continue to grow as a fighter and improve. So.
And as I mentioned, your original opponent was Natan Levy, who's quite a highly touted undefeated prospect coming off Contender Series. Is that a fight you're still interested in? Is that an opponent you'd still like to fight in the future?
I don't really care. I'll fight him if his name comes across, but if not, oh well, it's no loss on my end. You know what I mean? Like, um, I don't know. That was a strange scenario. He says he got injured, but stayed posting training videos and this and that, and then claims he saved him before he was injured and was posting. I don't know. It's sounds like some bull to me, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? If he was injured, I hope he recovers well. If we end up fighting again, so be it. If not, oh well. We'll see how it goes.
Well, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, something I wanted to touch on was your gym, Elevation Fight Team up in Colorado. And I can't say I've spoke to many of you guys for no particular reason, but do you guys, in terms of the quality in that gym, do you guys feel like you get the recognition you deserve as one of the big camps in the sport?
I think we're definitely earning that and getting to that point. We won Team of the Year for 2020, I believe it was, and um, yeah, we have a lot of really good people, a lot of really good up and comers. We have a really close knit type of family. We're not like a huge gym like American Top Team or like AKA where they have like this huge big setup and everything, but we have a good gym. We have solid people, and we all work well together and have like a really tight knit group, and it's working. So I think the results will continue to speak for themselves, and as we have these fights come and go, and majority of the time we're winning them. So I'm sure the recognition will keep on coming, hopefully.
Out of interest, are you guys based in Denver, if memory serves?
Yeah, in Denver. Yep.
What is the actual elevation in Denver? I'm obviously a Brit, so I'm not 100% sure.
It is like 5,280 or something like that.
Wow.
Various spots are a little different, but I think that's what they have listed for, it's Mile High City. So
You
uh
you guys never really, as a team, you guys are quite synonymous with your cardio. I can't really remember an elevation fight team fighter gassing out in a fight. So how much of an advantage do you think training at altitude is for you guys?
yeah, I don't think anyone on our team will ever gas us out in a fight, but it is an advantage. I mean, the air's thinner here. I mean, there's scientific proof it is
Yeah.
beneficial. So I think it is benefit for sure.
Out of interest, I know you wouldn't want to tell me specifics in case Pichel hears this, let's say, but who've been your main sparring partners? Who've been your main training partners for this camp?
Yeah, I have gotten a lot of rounds in with Justin Gaethje, Corey Sandhagen when he's getting ready for his fight, um, Lavelle Simpson, Mohammed. I'm sorry, Mohammed. I don't know how to say your last name. We, we we have a really solid group of people. You know what I mean? Like Neil Magny, Bolian. Uh, I'm not. I'm gonna butcher his last name as well. But I've been getting rounds in with him. So yeah, a handful of solid people for sure.
Superb. Something that I wanted to ask you about Austin as well is this loaded lightweight division. It's probably the deepest division in the UFC and probably the sport more generally. What is it like for you as a fighter being in this such loaded division where you've got to fight so many people just to get where you want to get to?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a double-edged sword. I mean, I love the challenge, but it is a constant challenge. You know what I mean? you don't really get too many easy fights in this division, and generally in the UFC for any division, but more so, in this division, like you said, it's so deep, and I believe it's the biggest division in the UFC is the lightweight division. Um, so yeah, there's always uh, challengers. There's always challenges. There's always work that needs to be done. It keeps you on your toes for sure. You can't get complacent. Uh, yeah.
When you look at your division, and as you mentioned, there's so many names, because quality and quantity. Is there someone you look at and go, me and him, I want to fight him eventually? That would be a scrap that I would like.
Honestly, I've never been a fighter who I pick, who I fight or even care who I fight. Um, the only thing, my goal in this sport is obviously one day become a champion. I want to make money and support my family. I want to just enjoy the journey. I get to do what I love every day. It's so I'm just along for the journey. I don't care who I fight. I'll fight whoever. So I don't ever feel like it's my job to choose who I fight. So I never really think about that, as crazy as that sounds.
Probably sounds like a healthy way to think, because as you mentioned, you're not the matchmaker, you don't get the choice. So why
Yeah.
stress about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Austin, I wanted to ask you this as well. I had a little bit of a look at your UFC record, and you've alternated wins and losses in your UFC career. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's something that you perhaps need to do, or you've perhaps changed to get that UFC consistency, to start racking up these wins, or is anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So after the Joe Selecki loss, I actually started working, weekly with a mental coach and really started diving in on mental training, reading a bunch of different books, in regards to like mental training type of books and like breathing books and just stuff like that. And I put a lot of work into that, and it's been probably about a year now, since I started doing that things. And I think that's definitely been going to be a game changer for me. I feel it helps tremendously. It's definitely helped me, and I feel like that's definitely was the missing ingredient to start putting some consistent stringing wins together and things like that. So we'll see though. Tough fight ahead, and I'm ready for it. But yeah.
Well, let's move on to the fight at hand, and I'll ask you one final question about it. And I'm not sure if you're a prediction man, but I'm going to ask you nonetheless. What happens when you're locked in the cage with Vinc Pichel?
Like I said, I do believe this is going to be a 3-round war, but obviously I do believe I'm going to be the winner of that 3-round war. He's a tough man. I don't think he's going to be very easily put away. He seems to get stronger as the fight goes. He's well rounded. So I think, like I said, it's going to be a war, but I think I will be a step ahead, along the way in that war. I'm not. I'm gonna take, my hits. I'm gonna probably be taken down here and there, maybe get reversed here and there. I'm just prepared for the worst. You know what I mean? I'm prepared for the worst and hoping for the best, as they say. So, like I said, 3-round war, but obviously I'm coming out on top.
Of course. Well, it's a fantastic fight, and very much thank you for your time, and look forward to seeing you back in action in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Before we finish, Austin, how can people find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Austin Hub with 2 B's, 155. That's same for my Twitter. And I also have a fight page on Facebook, Austin Thud Hubbard. You can find that on there. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
And for one final question, the floor is yours. Anything you want to say or sign off with at all?
Oh, no, just thank you for having me. And, thank you for everyone who supports me on this journey.
Superb. Great way to end. Thanks for your time today, Austin.
Yep, no problem, man.